Good evening, everybody. I'm just gonna start talking, um, and hopefully the crowd builds up. I am I am on the highway. I'm actually leaving the bamboo office right now because we just finished setting up the stage and stuff. I need the glasses. We just finished setting up the stage. You know, when you're doing a live video in the early stages, when you now start doing live videos, you just want everything to be so perfect. You hear how the glasses looking, how the shirt looking, but thousands of live videos later, you get to realize that more than things being perfect, it is the content that matters. I am listening. Actually, before I get into that, last night I did a live video that was an hour and 45 minutes long, and that finished minutes to 11. And by the time I finished, run through the comments and make sure everything was squared away with that video, it was minutes after midnight. And then I had to get up early this morning to go on 91.9 on Iowa George Station and do what is probably one of the most powerful videos I have ever done, because the reviews, not just the comments, when people tell you in a video that the video was nice and the video was well done, that is greatly appreciated. Don't stop that. But you see, when people take the time to send you a message, like a WhatsApp and stuff, to tell you how the video this morning moved them. I did a video this morning about bullying. And people who have bad memories, have had bad bullying experiences, message me to tell me that even though it was a political video, it was so well done that they sharing it with other people. And the video going viral is a 91.9 video. So yeah, you're welcome. But a guy, when I knew that that video was gonna go viral, was that as I drove away from the station this morning, 9 o'clock, I got a message from a fella and I shared it, I screenshot it and shared it. He said, "I never like you." That's how he opened the conversation. So, he said, "I never like you." He said, "But I end up listening to a radio station this morning and heard the person speaking deal with that issue, such a sensitive issue, so properly." He said, "Then I realized that it was you." He said, "No, I tell you, you have my full support." One video. I'd also like to acknowledge, I would also like to acknowledge all of the people who are taking the time to reach out and give words of encouragement. I want to tell you, it is important. The day is long. It's a short, brutal election season, and we have to wring all that you can get out of it. Anyway, there's a live video. I hope Raphael Banfield and Satish are close by to share it. Let's see what kind of numbers. Because last time I did a video on the highway heading south, it crossed 400 viewers. Anyway, There are so many ways to have this conversation. The guys who came to put up the stage, I mean, the average Trinbagonian that knows who I am, when they see me, they can't wait to get into political conversation with me and tell me their views and ask me my views. And well, I want to shout out Raghu, brother. I hope to see you tomorrow at the event. I liked everything that you said today. I endorse and agree. And if we see you tomorrow, we will create a space in the program for you to come up on stage and bring greetings on behalf of your followers. So I want to tell you, thank you for that. Thank you for all that you said today. Well received. And my entire crew are happy that all of us are on the same page. All the powerful lions are lining up on the same side. Well done. Hope to see you tomorrow. Those of you who are going to see this live video between tonight and tomorrow, please remember that tomorrow at 5 o'clock, well, the gates open from 2 and they're going to be bouncy castle and face painted for the kids, but from 5 o'clock the political meeting starts. We had started off, we had planned this before the elections were announced. So it was planned to have a family-friendly event, then the political meeting, and when the elections were called, everything was already in place and there was no extra stress to continue. We're just adding to it tomorrow. Presentation of candidates, the Western Front. And I don't want to give too much mileage to these jokers in office, to this miscreant, this mimic man. You know why I call him a mimic man? Because he don't have original thought. They have a pop-up party from South. Its leader moves them out. But my words come out. My fundraising, they plagiarize that. My policies, they plagiarize that. They're announcing, they're bringing out a manifesto. I can't wait to read my words with their logo. All of those parties are failing because the people who it takes to make up those parties understand. And I'm also sending a message tonight. Karen Eunice Tishera, my number is 682-2110. Anybody hearing this video that could get a message to Karen Eunice Tishera, I'd like to speak with her. Because we spoke before she ended up in the Hope and Alliance Bacchanal, and we were on the same page with a lot of stuff. And I think that she has a contribution to make. And I would honestly like to at least re-establish conversation with Karen Eunice Tishera. So if somebody could just give her my number and tell her I am trying to reach her, I'd appreciate that. The mimic man talking about government efficiency. The PNM that has transformed a working country that was number one in the world in so many things into a failed nation. All of a sudden they could find foreign exchange for people who was getting 200 US to get 1,000. So they tell the Syrian financiers, hey, all you cool it for a little while. We need to throw some crumbs and distract the voters and fool them into thinking that we care. But isn't that the PNM style? Hasn't that always been the PNM style? To lie and deceive their followers. You go in and copy Elon Musk. If I don't get Elon Musk to come to Trinidad to campaign with us, I'm going to get him on a live video. Because you could pretend that you know Trump. But you ain't no Trump. In fact, I hear your former boss on the run from Trump. And you, they might have some questions for you. And all the dancing you dance with Maduro. Not my circus, not my monkeys. But my brother, Dr. Paul Elias Alexander, the author of Presidential Takedown, me and my brother, are going to work together. Him from inside the Trump administration, and me from inside Kamala's coalition of interest government. And we are going to work to bring 100,000 jobs. 100,000 well-paying jobs. 100,000 career-building jobs. Not packing fries in a box, not swinging a baton for amalgamated security. 100,000 manufacturing jobs. 100,000 information technology jobs. 100,000 proper career building, family minding, money making jobs. My brother was supposed to be on the show this morning, but I had to tell him, I want to deal with this bully. I want to deal with this bullying issue. We dealt with it. Because they're not sweeping that under the rug. Trinidad, I marched 25 years ago to break the silence. Stuart Young want to bring back silence. Stuart Young want to pretend it didn't happen. Stuart Young want to tell Imran Khan who he damaged for life, move on. Now I trust the PNM to move like how they move with Gat Noel Mother. And I sure they have PNM operatives right now trying to reach out to Imran Khan to offer him all kind of money. That's how the PNM is moving. Because it's election season. I'm going to bring the 4 divers on my platform tomorrow. Kaz Ali, Michael Kerban, Yusuf Henry's father. I want all of them. I want Christopher Boudram on my platform tomorrow. And I'm going to put them on every platform till they embarrass that man, Stuart Young, who was the author and finisher of the barrier handling as Minister of Energy of that damnable blight on Trinidad's history. That we abandoned 4 living human beings trapped in a pipe that could have been rescued. We abandoned them to die. Somebody asked me, where was front to back when we were lighting candles for Andrea Barrett? You know, where were they when we were in Paria for the divers, begging for people with voices? Come and add your voice so we could bring out the people and force the government to rescue when nobody know. Nobody know. It's easy to talk politics, you know. It's easy to pretend. And a lot of them real good at that. A lot of them real good at pretending to care. But you all know me. An election come, an election go. I still here. Fighting for the people. People saying that now in large numbers. They're telling one another now. And it took a long time. And I don't blame the people for being jaded. Imagine you live in a country where the leading party's name, people take it for granted to mean promises never materialize. Anything the PNM give you with their left hand is take away with the right after elections. Imagine the PNM, Donna Cox and Reginald were going to take away poor people pension, old ladies. I mean, when you think about it, we talk about these things. We talk about these things like, you know, they're just topics. We talk about them like that without putting a human face. But these little old ladies who catching their tail to pay for medicine to live. This little stinking $3,000 that they get. Donna Cox, who renting a new weave every week, who driving around in a big stinking Range Rover and shopping in Haddad exclusive store. Haddad, who had owned peppercorns, had opened a higher level peppercorns called Fresh in Maraval. And Donna Cox was a card carrying member. I used to see her there all the time, shopping there as a government minister. They alone must have life. They don't see you as people. PNM ministers don't see you as people. When Terence Dial sing whine onto that stage, he whining on all them stupid and dotish people that still willing to vote PNM despite the evidence before their eyes. When Stuart Young say they're going to do a government department of efficiency, I cry bullshit, because it took a long time for the PNM machinery to set in place all those tools of corruption. Trump is weeding out the deep state. Trump is weeding out America's version of the PNM. Stuart Young represents the Lodge Boys and the deep state in Trinidad. Don't let him fool you. Trinidad knows there is only one man in Trinidad that you could put in charge of a Department of Efficiency in Trinidad, Department of Government Efficiency, and that is Phillip Edward Alexander. When Christian Bond of Chrism Motorcars sent me Stuart Young's bullshit promise tonight, and he said we in the UNC coalition missed an opportunity, I laughed. I said to him, this man who failed at every ministry he was in is going to ironically fail at efficiency. But let him stunt. Last night the UNC had a public meeting, and when you see the crowd shot from outside, you swear you was at a big concert. People climbing walls, people climbing trees, people on top roof. See tomorrow in Bamboo #1, come and see that crowd. And after you see that crowd, Griffith, fold up that NTA foolishness. Bend your knee. I know that you're making, I know you're sending people to beg Kamala. Not beg, privately. Bend your knee. Acknowledge her as the leader of the coalition. Acknowledge her as that. And acknowledge her as the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. That's where you have to start. But my people, we beyond Stuart Young. They have nobody buying his bullshit. PNM have to pauperize the Syrian finances to get the kind of bribe money they need. People gonna take your money and vote UNC. People gonna take your money and vote PEP. Beat them. Calling for Phillip to walk in Beatham. I have walked in Beatham before. I am the only politician that went there when the sewage was flowing in people's homes. They remember. They may be poor, but they're not stupid. And you will try and chain them up on race. And I will remind them, if PNM was ever a black people party, black people would be able to get loans in the bank. Black people would be able to get foreign exchange. Black people would be able to get into the university. Black people in Trinidad and Tobago suffer at the hands of the PNM. And the PNM and its trolls have to take responsibility for that. That's the truth. When the Queen handed over this country, we were #1 in the world in cocoa. We had the largest oil refinery on the planet. We were #1 in the world in pitch. We were a prospering tourist destination. We had the largest brain coral on the planet. The oldest old-growth forest in the world. Our sugar industry that was mining the Commonwealth. The first line of latitude was drawn through Trinidad. That is why there is an observatory street. At the top of Observatory Street is a wall with a slit. And anytime GPS go down, they will realign the position of the country on maps using that slit on Observatory Street. Trinidad had the first tracking station for intercontinental ballistic missiles set up in Chagaramas. This country that invented the television set where the cure for rabies was found. Trinidad and Tobago that had the hottest pepper on the planet, the #1 cocoa in the world. Chagaramas water was the purest water. It was the gold standard that they were using. They would fly into Trinidad and take Chagaramas aquifer water to use as the gold standard. Research all of this. Look at your country now. A corrupt, murderous, failed nation. All of the infrastructure in pre-collapse. They could come out now and put a ribbon of tar. It wouldn't last. That's not road repair. Road paving is different to road repair. Road repair is putting down a substrate and then a median and then a top coat. The pitch is the top coat. That's like the paint. They fooling you with lipstick and rouge. I think my people are beyond that. I think my people understand that it's more than race. I think my people understand that for Phillip Edward Alexander to tell you, I, the largest voice in politics, tell you that there is no way that any third party can win. All you're going to do is help the PNM. That's all you're going to do. And if you say the problem is the PNM, don't help the PNM. All those third parties, if you care about Trinidad and Tobago, if you're not joining with Kamala, stand down. You cannot win. If Basdeo Pandey was alive, because when Larry Lala, who I want to tell you, Larry Lala flirt with starting a new party with Jerry Yetming and Mervyn Assam and Basdeo Pandey and came to us to ask us that. And Jerry Yetming admitted it in the media. Larry Lala flirted with Gary Griffith and his NTA experiment. That Larry Lala remained in the United National Congress while not interested in the United National Congress. You see, I would fight with people. I would fight. But I want to tell you, I am always honest. If I tell you something wrong, it's wrong. If I tell you this is the way it has to be, I know. plenty people know how hard we tried. When I look at the senior members of the Progressive Empowerment Party, they're excited and they're motivated, but they're tired. We've been in the trenches. We fought everything. We fought every election. We fought every by-election. We fought them on COVID. We fight. We fight for our people. But I need you to know, before I wrap up this video, because I got a call from home, so I'll take the call. Tomorrow, I either come from 2 o'clock, free food, doubles and corn soup, sweet plate kind of thing, bouncy castle, face painted for the kids, or come from 5 o'clock if all interested in the presentation of candidates and the political contributions. But come tomorrow. You have to earn the $60 billion that this country needs for its budget every year. Mimic man, Stuart Young, tell it that you can't answer that question. You're a failure. Trinidad and Tobago, stay safe. Till tomorrow.